Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations. I know last episode, with Elise, I did say that was going to be the last episode of kind of the August, let's say, summer episodes, but I was wrong. I always lie. It's part of being a Doctor Who, I think. But this episode is going to be maybe the only September one, and then after this episode, wait a little bit, and then November group episodes, maybe some single episodes, and some special episodes with a few maybe people from Doctor Who who's acted in it. But today I'm joined with Soups, and it's going to be a really cool conversation because we've interacted with each other on TikTok for a little while, and it's going to be really cool just to speak to Soups and hear his opinion on Doctor Who, who he liked, who maybe he doesn't like, but it's it's going to be really cool. So Soups, I feel like I say this every time. I feel like I've introduced yourself for you, but if you have anything else to add on your introduction, please do.
I think you covered it. You can find me usually on TikTok. That's the only really place I'm staying active. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I can't say I'm really good at sort of juggling all those balls at the moment. So TikTok is the place you'll find me at Soupy Soups. But yeah.
Yeah. So it is good. It is hard to keep active on all of them at once.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
find. Like because everyone does a different thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially Twitter. The Twitter's probably the second best one because I sort of just stay on top of everything now. Like I'm on there a few times a day.
Yeah, Twitter for me, I go on it purely because it just says Doctor Who news and stuff like that. Other
Yeah.
than that, I'm not a fan of the app. Um, as a whole.
Yeah. I don't really read comments if I can help it. I'll look at the news and I'll put my piece in or tweet myself, but I don't really you won't catch me reading too many comments and stuff like that because it's quite negative sometimes.
Yeah, lots of arguments I find on
Yes,
that.
yeah. Twitter's just you go on there and they'll argue till the cows come home, like
Yeah,
anything.
I had an argument with someone. It was silly. I can't remember what it was about. They said a joke about something about Doctor Who, a Doctor Who joke, and it wasn't really funny. It was more offensive than funny, I would say.
Oh,
And I literally comment, not being hateful at all. I say I didn't find that funny, and then screenshotted my comment and put it in the comments saying
wow.
block me then. That's right. That's what I did because that's what I did because I didn't think it was friendly back then. But like you
That's
say, it's very negative.
yeah. They always try and make it like they make it seem like a threat, don't they? Like, well, if you don't like it, block me. And like I'm straight away, I'm like, yeah, block. What
Yeah,
am I losing?
yeah. It is silly. Like I don't have many followers on there. I pretty go on it just be in
Mm,
date with news and Doctor Who stuff.
yeah. But then again, especially with news like anything that Russell T Davies puts out, it's straight on his Instagram anyway. So
It is,
I
yeah,
have a choice, don't I? So yeah.
yeah. It is kind of a choice to. Yeah, I like Instagram better, I'd say, than Twitter, but
Mm.
we know the doctors don't like Twitter anyway, do they? Like Matt
No,
Smith has said he doesn't like Twitter, so
I remember
uh,
seeing a thing
yeah,
about Stephen Moffat didn't want to be on there because he was on there and then he was getting like threats from people about Sherlock and Series 6 or Series 5 and he was like, yeah, I'm coming off this. And I know David Tennant's not got it but yeah, there's I think the only one I follow on there is Colin Baker.
Colin Baker has it, Sylvester McCoy has it, Shooty Gatwood doesn't have it,
Yeah, that's
he doesn't have it, but you'd find like Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy are more active on there
yeah, I did
than
because I didn't know if they were run by like an admin or someone doing it for them, but it seems like especially Colin Baker's, it definitely is him with his opinions.
yeah. Yeah, he's got the picture of him as the Sixth Doctor as well on
Yeah,
there. Like with David Tennant, you've got he's not on social media at all. But like you got Georgia Tennant on
yeah,
Instagram.
his wife sort of shares everything, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does all that. Matt Smith isn't on any social media, I don't believe. But his mum is on Instagram, on Twitter. Sorry.
Yes, I've seen that because I
Yeah,
always see a photo and it's like she's like a proper mum. She's like
yeah.
shows a photo of him like love my kids. And I think, oh, bless him.
No, that's awesome. Jodie Whittaker doesn't. Who else? Chris Eccleston has Instagram.
I love his Instagram. I
Yeah,
love Christopher Eccleston's
yeah.
Instagram.
It's great, but he ends up deleting it all, and
Yeah, or he
don't he?
says something that gets him in trouble,
Yeah,
or
yeah. He puts something on, and then it's deleted, and then you go on his profile, and there's no photo shared.
anything. I know. I kept seeing tweets when the Queen passed away. They were like, take Christopher Eccleston's Instagram off him because he'll be straight on that. And I saw the photo of him or the sheet he put up of her. But yeah, I'm trying to think who else is not. I don't think Tom Baker's definitely not on any social media whatsoever. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
And who
David
else?
Bradley isn't. I don't think.
No,
I
no.
don't think.
I see photos of David Bradley quite a bit, but they're not. It's not actually. It's not him. It's other people with him. But yeah, I think they all sort of stay off uh social media because it's just negative. It's always negative. There's always someone with an opinion that puts you down.
Oh, there's always someone moaning.
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember, I think the last time I properly went through tweets and replies that someone put was when Ncuti Gatwa was cast as the Doctor, and it was just there was so much like positivity, and then you'd scroll and every now and again you'd see a comment, you'd be like, brilliant. Like, just why say it?
Yeah,
But
because like the last two Doctors are a big change to Doctor Who. Like,
mm,
yeah, like in different ways. Like you have the 13th Doctor because it's the first woman.
yeah,
Um, and then you have Ncuti Gatwa as the first black gay Doctor.
yeah,
And it is good to do this. It is good to change.
definitely,
Um,
yeah. And there's always problems with change. Like, even Peter Capaldi, people are saying he's too old. Matt Smith, they said he's too young. There's always going to be someone to nitpick and moan. But Doctor Who needs to change each actor differently. They need to be there needs to be a contrast between Doctors, doesn't there? Otherwise, it is the same.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. But I am very like I always enjoy when a new Doctor is announced though, because I always think that it's not going to be someone that it's not going to be. It's not going to be someone that we know. It's not going to be a popular actor. It's going to be someone
no,
that's maybe just starting out. Like now, you go down the Doctors. They're so popular now. Like
yeah.
Matt Smith is in it. Like look at David Tennant. Since he was in Doctor Who, he's
That's the
a
thing. I think
Hollywood star.
I think David Tennant was sort of an up and coming star, wasn't he? Because when he was
Yeah,
cast, he was in Casanova, and I don't. Maybe he had done Goblet of Fire then, but he was quite a small actor. I think in terms of the modern series, I think the only two actors I'd say that were prominent stars already would be Christopher Eccleston and Peter Capaldi. But even then, they're not in sort of public eye, but they're known.
yeah. Like Peter Capaldi was in Doctor Who before, and so was
Yeah,
Karen Gillan. So they had. I think I know Karen Gillan said that she didn't think that she was going to be in Doctor Who. Karen Gillan said that she didn't think she was going to be in Doctor Who again. So it was a
mm,
big surprise for her to be the next companion. So it is. It's good the way they do these things, and like even now, so they're offering chances to people that you wouldn't maybe think like 5 or 6 years ago
yeah,
would be in Doctor Who.
absolutely. Oh yeah, especially in the sort of inclusivity of like everyone in the new cast.
Yeah,
Whether they're minor characters, because they don't know, they've only said the names of the characters that other actors are playing, aren't they? Other than
yeah,
Millie
yeah,
Gibson and Ncuti Gatwa, but it's brilliant what they're doing, just sort of bringing more on board. And I think Series 14 is definitely, I think it's going to be
yeah.
fantastic. It's going to be brilliant. It's
It
going to be.
is. Yeah, it's going to be the best. It's. I think it's going to be the best in a while. I'd say a Doctor
I
Who
th- I
series.
think it's gonna visually. I think because of that Disney budget, Disney's pumping a bit more money into it. It's not like they're not sort of struggling with like classic Doctor Who sort of poor CGI. But I've been watching the new series like from the beginning recently, and the CGI is not that bad. Like it's, but with that Disney money, that it's going to look good. I can't. How many is it? It's a shorter series, isn't it? It's not a full sort
It's
of.
it's 8 episodes, I believe. Series 14 is going to be, but so we're getting the November, the 3 specials whenever they're going to air.
Yeah,
And then we will have the Christmas special. and then I would have thought early next year we'll get a
I'd say about April,
April,
like
yeah.
series 5 was and series
Yeah.
2. I'd say that's still so that's what still 12 episodes technically, because you'd class the 60th as series 14, wouldn't you? It'd be the
I
first.
would, yeah. I wouldn't. I would like. It's going to be interesting, because is it going to be? Is the Christmas special going to be a continuation from the events that has just happened on the 60th?
Mm,
That's going to be interesting, and is that going to lead into series like the series 14 kind of cast, like what they're going to be doing? Um, it's going to be interesting.
yeah. When do you think the episodes are going to air? Do you think they're going to have one directly on the 23rd?
So my opinion is, I shared something actually today. So my opinion is, there's either going to be two options, and we speak about Twitter. On Twitter, there was this massive uproar about this,
Hmm.
and the uproar was, well, I'll tell you what I think first. So I think there's two situations here that is either gonna be whatever happens, November 23rd is sealed. We're gonna get one on that day, and that's a
Hmm.
Thursday. It's gonna be weird because we're never used to Doctor on a Thursday. It's always either a Saturday or
Yeah.
Sunday. So we get that first episode on the 23rd. We're either be the 23rd, the 24th, 25th. So it'll be a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday, 3-day slot, kind of a trilogy. But I don't think that will happen. I think Doctor Who don't want that to happen. You've waited all these months to have it on a 3-day slot. That's one situation.
Mm.
Another situation is you have it weekly. So you have it on the Thursday, the 23rd. You miss the weekend coming, so you miss the Friday, that Saturday, because that'll be too soon. That'll be
Yeah.
like 2 days off. You go to the following weekend, which is the start of December. That'll be a Saturday. I think they'll go back to the Saturday slot, which we were used to years
I
ago.
hope they do. I
Um,
love the Saturday slot.
yeah, and then we have the following weekend, the series, the 60th special will end on the 9th. If that is the weekly basis, then you
Mm.
only have about a few weeks till you got the Christmas special.
Yeah.
Um, and then the uproar was, they think on Twitter land, they think is if we have it weekly, we're not going to have enough time to promote the Christmas special. And in my personal opinion, I think that's nonsense,
Yeah.
because you have a good solid 2 weeks to spread good content for the Christmas special. You don't need a whole month to do that. 60th you need longer because it's more exciting. I think it's going to be more
I,
exciting.
I think the 60th they'll start doing that at like the
Yeah,
end of September.
yeah, yeah. I think they'll be proper. We probably will get a full length trailer at some point.
Mm.
I'm not liking at the moment that we keep seeing TARDIS things on the Doctor Who pages, because personally I don't want them to leak the inside
I
of the
want it a
TARDIS.
secret. I
Yeah,
really want
so
the,
do I.
I I think what, like you say, I think the trailers they'll also do the same thing where they'll do the 3 episodes, and I think they'll do, because usually Doctor Who they share stuff on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday,
Mm.
and I think they'll do a trailer one week, a trailer the next, and then a trailer the next, and then I think that would be a perfect way of doing it. And I've got a feeling that marketing is going to be, it's not just going to be trailers online and TV adverts. I think they're going to do something in person, like the pink TARDIS with Barbie.
Mm.
Um, I think they're going to make it known, so it's going to be watched. I think it's going to be probably one of the most watched series or episodes, at least. Those 3 specials will be the most watched in years, most recent years.
Yeah, yeah. But I completely agree. Like with what would you rather then? w- Would you rather them be a weekly thing, or would you rather it be like day after day when they air?
I would rather it be the weekly one sounds better, because then you say it ends on the 9th,
Yeah, it would end on that. Yeah,
and it's 9th till the 25th. So that is more than 2 weeks. If it's not, yeah, it's just over
yeah,
two
yeah,
weeks for them. That's plenty of time. They don't start playing Christmas trailers for other TV shows until like the first week of December. So it sort of fits right in
yeah.
spot.
And then I keep going back to Twitterland because I was just bizarre when I heard this theory. A totally different one that I'm saying. They're saying start on the 11th of November, the first special
Mhm.
on the 11th of November, and then you go towards till you get the last special on the 23rd. So you start at the start of November, which I think shouldn't happen because you want the first special on the 23rd. You don't want it to finish on the 23rd. The celebrations
Yeah,
can't for that day. That's Doctor Who Day. So I think that's complete nonsense. You don't want that to happen. I don't think Doctor Who will do that. I think the two options I just said there are the most likely.
I think you're right. They've got to start it on the 23rd, just so you say there's time to celebrate. Because otherwise, I mean, I'd love to watch the episodes now,
Yeah. So would
and
I.
I could happily have them now, but I feel like I'd get to the 23rd and I'd go, well, I've seen them now. Like, what else am I meant to do? Like, as much as I probably will rewatch and rewatch and rewatch them until I know every line or I'm bored of them, which it will be never. Um, yeah, they've got to start it on the 23rd, I think. And of course, they're doing other bits, aren't they? They're releasing the novelization of Rose.
Yeah.
The Is it the graphic novel? It's like the
Yeah.
comic version of
Yeah.
it.
I think that was on the 23rd as well.
So yeah.
Um, but when I made a graphic earlier today and I shared it, and I wanted to know if other people's opinions. And one person said, um, they said that they want one of the episodes to be on the 23rd,
Mhm.
um, which it probably will. But some people want it to be on Christmas Eve. They want like I wouldn't mind it that way, because it depends if it's going into the Christmas special.
Yeah.
If it's not going into the Christmas special, I think end it on the 9th. It's completely fine. But imagine if you had they did the first one, and then if they end that is rare, but they could do a twitch every 2 weeks from the 23rd,
Yeah,
which
that could work. I think monthly would be too long and
it
daily
would.
would be too short. I think
Yeah.
bi-weekly or weekly
Yeah.
they
I-
could do that. Because what would that? So that would do the 23rd, and then it would take you up till, I think that would take you bang on Christmas Day, wouldn't it? Almost,
yeah.
give or take a week.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think the weekly one is much better for the
Mm,
show because if you do a 3-day basis, it's over before it's even started. But yeah, I think that's the best scenario. I think.
yeah. I'm hoping I'm so optimistic about these specials being good. I have all my trust in Russell T Davies and everyone behind it, and the directors and David Tennant and Catherine Tate. I think they're going to be brilliant episodes, but I think Russell. I see a lot of things that Russell T Davies is putting on Instagram, and I've got a feeling he's gonna kill a character off, or he's gonna make it really emotional, and it's gonna pull on the heartstrings of everyone again. Um, and I'm both looking forward to and not those exact moments.
Is there anyone you think that might get killed off or
I,
in the series?
well, as much as I'd love her not to, I think something will happen to Donna again. There's two options. He could either make it so there's a way of fixing her so she remembers everything, which would be a really nice sort of ending to her character, and could open the door to her coming back if she ever did again for the 70th or the 80th, whatnot. When or they'll do the other way and he'll lose her, and it will propel Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, and sort of give him a bit of character development straight away if he's in the specials, which, judging by some things, apparently he is, but
Yeah.
we don't know.
Like I have a whole big theory of what's going to happen in the specials.
Mm-hmm.
Like Russell T Davies put that out like about I think it was that when Doctor Who confirmed about I think the giggle or Wild Blue Yonder when
Mm.
Donna is saying where am I? She was really scared. It's
Yeah,
only that snippet that we've got of Wild Blue Yonder. Um, and I think Wild Blue Yonder isn't the actual title of the episode. I think that is just a title, not confirmed.
yeah. Do you think? Because I saw another thing, and it's people online, and they're saying David Tennant's potentially last episode, even though he would come back. If someone said to David, can you come back for the 70th? I know you're a lot older now. Can you do another episode? He'd do it. He'd do it
Yeah,
on the 100th if he's still here,
he would
hopefully.
he would do it anytime. He
But
loves Doctor Who.
his last episode being like titled "The Giggle," I just can't see it. I mean, it'd be an iconic name because it's a regeneration story called The Giggle, which there's nothing funny about that usually.
But do you think there is going to be a regeneration though? There might not be one. Do you think that there's a possibility there might not even be a regeneration?
Because you could never show the regeneration. You could have the 14th Doctor off in his TARDIS, off he goes or whatnot, and they do big finish and whatever they want, or spin off, and then the Christmas special, the opening shot or whatnot, is the TARDIS landing, and it's a fully formed 15th Doctor he's got the personality. There's no post-regenerative sickness, or because a lot of their stories they spend in bed, like John Pertwee and David Tennant, their first stories they're spent in bed. But the Christmas special could open up like Rose, where you see a Doctor who's developed already. He's got the clothes on. I'd quite like that, to be fair, but I always do like a regeneration scene.
Yeah, I do too. But what I think will be happening is I think special one, the Giggle. No, I'm wrong. I'm the special one, Starbeast.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be about the Doctor figuring out who he is, because he doesn't know who he is anymore. And I think that's where he'll meet Donna again.
Yeah.
By coincidence. And Rose, presumably the Doctor's Donna's daughter. And then
Yes.
that's the whole Beat the Meep. That's all going to be about the Beat the Meep. But I don't think that's going to take too long. I don't think that's going to be long with Beat the Meep, but it's going to be funny. I think the first one is going to be funny.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and the visuals on Beat the Meep are they're really good.
It's hilarious though when you saw the set pics, because you had this big fat cat.
Yeah, they had this like fluff ball, didn't they? They're just obviously waiting.
Yeah,
I have seen the leaked scene. Unfortunately, Twitter.
I have too. I wanted to see it. I saw it and I could not click it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I saw it and it was on TikTok actually. It's probably about a minute recording. Is it the one where where Donna's carrying the boxes?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And I wanted to click off it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, but let's not. We'll talk about it, but we won't kind of give it away to anyone else in case they haven't seen it.
No. Don't watch it either.
But don't watch the leak. But it doesn't really give away anything.
No.
All it's happening is it's kind of some stuff you've seen in the trailer already.
It is basically the trailer, isn't it?
Yes. So Donna's holding the boxes. But the only thing that maybe don't know is that he waves his Sonic in the air, don't he, in the shot. And he's doing that, and then everyone stops and everyone forgets the whole entire thing. Everyone forgets the whole entire thing. And I think in the Sonic, like you just said there.
I've got it on my desk. It's still sat here.
Yeah. I think when he's waving it in the air, I think it has maybe like an extra setting where you can, like you're doing like really it's really techie, where you can actually move like there's like a field where he can move it. It looked like that's what he was doing, but
that would be really smart as well. I think that's sort of that's definitely something that would naturally fit in with it.
Yeah, especially with the story.
Are you on about sort of like a hologram?
Yeah. Like I know like in these kind of, I don't know, Star Trek, Star Wars, like you have this kind of hologram.
But they can like shuffle around. You're
shuffling around, or what, like kind of all the tech in the Sonic. You can actually see it, and you're moving it around, discovering what it is. I think that's what he's doing there, because we see it there in the leak that we're talking about. He's moving it all across. I think that's what he's doing, and then for some reason everyone forgets what's happened. And then that was a long clip, about 6 minutes. I watched the whole 6 minutes, but half of all the rest of it was just pictures.
I'm glad I didn't watch the whole 6 minutes. I think I watched the first minute.
Yeah.
And then I swiped it and I saved it. I think it's either saved on my personal account or it's saved on the Soupy Soups account. And I'll watch it when I see the special to see what they changed, if that makes sense, if they cut bits out of it and that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away from leaks. If I see a leak, I'm not clicking on it. I'm ignoring people.
Yeah. They aren't nice, but the unfortunate thing about Doctor Who, everyone wants to know things months before.
Hmm.
And that actually happened with you know, what was it? Paul McGann's clip in the 50th anniversary. Um,
Yes,
that was leaked. That was supposed to air on the 23rd, but they had to air it earlier because it
they
was
aired it
leaked.
on Paul McGann's birthday in
Yeah,
the
they
end as
did.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they aired it on his birthday. I bet he was really excited about that. A nice
yeah.
surprise. It was a nice surprise, but yeah, it just, just things like that. I think we probably get a similar thing to that, like a mini episode or something.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah,
I'd love to see McGann back on screen again.
yeah,
I
it would
think
be nice.
I'd love obviously because they're doing all those what do you call it spin-offs.
Spin off. Yeah.
I'd love a spin-off with a past Doctor or something. Just a few, even if it's like a 4 episodes or I'd love another story with any of them. But especially McGann.
Yeah, he needs his own series.
Hmm.
And he still has it. He's still really good as the Doctor now, and he's still got the part.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but I think what will happen is like we've got April next year, presumably saying that that's what Series 14 is going to be. And then after that, maybe you have a spin-off, more likely to be like a unit spin-off, I reckon. Um,
I think there's going to be a unit, and I think there's going to be a spin-off either incorporating the kids from Sarah Jane, or I think maybe they'll join unit or something like that. There's got to be because they're all coming back for Big Finish, so that I think they're all keen.
yeah, yeah,
Um, or I'd love like a companion spin-off, just
yeah,
like their companion meeting at the end of Power of the Doctor, just sort of small snippets. I don't know that there's so much they could do with spin-offs now. Um,
yeah.
it, a master one. I think a master one would be my pick. One with Michelle Gomez or Sacha Dhawan as the master, just wreaking havoc would be brilliant.
Yeah, they just team up, go across the havoc across the universe.
Oh yeah, even together, I think those two would be spot on.
Yeah, they were together on I think Sacha Dhawan posted a video on his Instagram once. They were just walking down these steps.
Hmm.
I think they went to Comic-Con together. And it was just
Oh,
hilarious. It was just so funny. Um, but without all the masters, I love all of them. All the masters that they've been. I
hmm.
think they've been all really good.
I think masters. There's not one. Like the Doctor. There's not one bad one. I've got favorites, and I've got ones that I wouldn't. I would watch them still, but I like Missy. I think Missy is probably. I don't know. I think all the modern masters have been spot on. Derek Jacobi and John Sim.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think my favorite would probably be either Missy or, funny enough, Roger Delgado's master, the original master.
yeah.
Um,
Was that in the movie?
no, I liked him in the. It was the third Doctor.
Oh yeah, the really old one.
Yeah, the
I,
original. He was in all the Auton episode. Every time the Autons showed up, it was the master with him. Um, I don't know why. He obviously
That's a
liked
bit
them.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
But yeah.
um, I have a soft spot for Sasha's master,
Hmm.
because he's got Crohn's as well.
Oh, does he?
Like he's got Crohn's like me, so um, I love that. I didn't know that straight away. I found that a bit later on, and he's an ambassador for like Crohn's and Colitis UK.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's why I love his master. I do really like it, but
Yeah, I think his
um,
master's good.
yeah, I like John Sim. John Sim was such a good master, um,
Hmm.
as well. Um, at first, I was a bit with Misty. I wasn't keen at first because I didn't like the name change. Like like if you're not going to change the Doctor, to uh, you're not going to change the Doctor's name, are you? So it's almost like they've changed the Master's name, which
Yeah.
I which was a bit different. I got used to it, but it's almost like in a Doctor sense, the Doctor's a girl. You're not going to change it to Mistress or
Yeah.
no or like Nurse or something like
Yeah.
that. Like it would be the same thing you would do. But yeah, it did work though. calling her
Yeah,
Missy, but
I think Missy at first I was the same because she's sort of dotted throughout series 8, isn't she? And like the ends of episodes and bits and bobs. But I think come series 10, I like her whole arc about her like sort of cracking and turning good. And then I think the saddest thing is the doctor never knew that she was good in the end, and she ended up dying. Where like God knows what happened to her. I don't know if I don't think Sacha Dhawan's master is after Missy. I think he's in between John Sim and Michelle Gomez. I think
yeah,
I think he would have been Matt Smith's master personally. If
he's
that makes
very
sense.
he's very John Simmy.
Yeah,
Um,
he's just evil. He's
yeah,
nasty.
yeah, he doesn't have any good to him. Um,
No.
like he was just sarcastic most of the time.
Yeah.
I did like his anger though. As the master. Um,
His acting was really good. It was a sort of a highlight of the Whittaker era.
yeah,
Other than obviously Jodie Whittaker was brilliant, but Sacha Dhawan was probably my favorite villain from the entire Chibnall era.
yeah. I liked him. He was very good. Like Series 11, uh, wasn't wasn't the best, was it? Like
No,
Series
no.
11.
I quite liked Spyfall. I liked the opening, and I liked his introduction as the
Yeah,
master.
that was
And
good. Yeah,
there's a couple of stories like Fugitive of the Jadoon. I
yeah.
did really like that.
I like
And
that one too.
I like Joe Martin's Doctor, but I still don't know where she fits in numbering, and I'm quite I don't know what the word would be, but I like my numbers. I like
Yeah,
one being one. When the War Doctor was introduced, I didn't at first. I was like, so he's 8.5 technically,
yeah. It
but
didn't make sense, did it? Um, but yeah, I think they only done that purely because not because Eccleston didn't want to do it.
yeah,
Um,
100%. The video I covered yesterday, I did it on a potential plot of Name of the Doctor, and the whole plot is basically involving Christopher Eccleston. And I think Stephen Moffat said that the 50th was meant to be centered around him. Um, he just wouldn't come back, and I can't blame him. But it would have been. I always long for seeing Christopher Eccleston on screen again. I just think I love his Doctor.
I do think one day he will.
Yeah,
I do think one day because now he's going to all these Comic Cons and he wouldn't do that before. And I know he's even said he does it because of the money.
yeah.
Which makes sense. It's a job. People do that. That's
You
the
got to
reason.
respect his
Yeah,
honesty as
yeah. You
well.
got to
He's
respect
not
honesty.
sugarcoating, and
No, like
I think, and especially because he does Comic Con now, he does all the conventions, he does Big Finish, and I think there'll probably be a loophole with obviously Doctor Who and their spin-offs. Um, and if they say, oh well, no, it's technically Disney and BBC, because I think Christopher Eccleston's main problem is with the BBC, isn't it?
yeah.
So if they say it's like a joint collaboration, Disney, BBC for Doctor Who, like a spin-off with you and Billy Piper, let's just say, I'm not wishful thinking, but I would love a few more episodes of those two. I think he would, and especially if they showed him that sort of Disney budget and paycheck, then that would
Yeah.
get him on it.
Yeah. It would be a bit weird, wouldn't it, though, if like you say, if the Ninth Doctor and Rose were there together years later,
Yeah.
it would be a bit weird because like it could just do it would work. I would say it would
Hmm.
work because Rose like Billy Piper would be interested in it. It's like she
She
was
said recently, didn't she?
yeah,
She'd come back,
yeah, she would come
and
back if she was asked. So
they always explain sort of when actors are older in the role, like Peter Davison in Time Crash with David Tennant, or they always explain why why the actor looks a bit older. So they could just say, well, something's made them look slightly older. But I don't think, to be honest with you, they've not aged that much in the.
no.
I still think that they're quite youthful. Um, if not, just dye Christopher Eccleston's hair black again, cut it short, put it back in the costume, and we're good.
Yeah, yeah, because like Matt Smith hasn't really aged.
Not at all, no.
No, he hasn't. It's one of the doctors like he hasn't aged really at all. You can see it in David Tennant. He has aged a little bit.
Yeah,
But not like they could have. I understand why they've done what they've done because maybe before all this 60th was talked about David Tennant,
mm,
maybe they were thinking bring him back as a temp doctor, and then they think, oh, we done that 10 years ago.
yeah.
It'd be a bit the same. And they call him the 14th Doctor, which is it the Meta Crisis Doctor perhaps because the Meta Crisis Doctor can age,
Yes,
and the Doctor can't really age. So maybe that's who he is, but maybe that's why he doesn't know who he is anymore because
that's
the
why I'm
yeah,
loving the questioning.
yeah.
What is he?
Because like you do a lot about deleted scenes and stuff
Mm,
like that, don't you? There was a deleted
yes.
scene, as you probably know what I'm talking about now, like like the one where the Metacraft Doctor and they took it out. Russell T Davies wanted to keep it in. The
Was it
one
the
was
chunk of
yeah the
TARDIS?
Chuck and TARDIS, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah. I
one,
think I've covered that before.
yeah.
Do you know what? That would be a spin-off. If Russell T Davies retcons it and goes, actually, no, he did give it. Like he goes back and he puts the deleted scene in like on Disney Plus when it's shown on Disney Plus. They just put it in, and then they go, oh no, here's the spin-off. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Do you think for the 60th that we will see past Doctors?
There is a possibility that the only way I can see this happening is one, if it fits in the story. Don't just bring them
Hmm.
for the sake of it. Yes, we want doctors. The only way I can see it is I have this huge thing that this is going to happen. I think because the Doctor doesn't know who he is anymore. Like
Hmm.
presume whoever Neil Patrick Harris's person is, presumably the toy maker. I hope
I
not.
think he's the toy maker.
I would love him to be. I would love him not to be though, purely because
Oh,
everyone
really?
thinks he's the toy maker. Everyone,
You
don't
want it
they?
like you want it to be like a sort of a red herring, like a surprise.
Yeah, like a surprise because like as you know, like everyone thinks he's the toy maker, don't they?
Hmm.
You say to who's Neil Patrick Harris playing, they'll say the toy maker. So I'd love it to be wrong, but I think he's the toy maker too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of obvious from everything we've seen. But so what I think it's all down to the toy maker here. He's making the 14th Doctor regenerate. So he's regenerating. Shooty. This is where we see Shooty in the specials. I
Hmm.
I don't think we're going to see this in the first episode, though. I think this will be when Wild Blue Yonder, or really at the end of the Star Beast, is where he's making the Doctor regenerate. Shooty's popped out. He was saying that's where he's saying, "What the hell is going on here?" The Doctor is back regenerating into past faces. So you might see a Matt Smith, you might see a Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
That's the only way I can see past Doctors returning.
that would be good as
Um,
well.
because I don't see them being a big role. I can see it as a small cameo. They might say a few things for a little bit, and then you're back to the 14th Doctor. And then at this point, I think what's going to happen is the Shooty and David are going to separate. The toy maker's going to make them separate, so they're all they are there together. They're sided with each
Hmm.
other, and then there's going to be this whole mission about how the Doctor can be saved. The Doctor's, I
That would
think,
be good. Yeah.
and
Um,
that's what I think.
I don't think it's going to be like Day of the Doctor, where obviously the Doctor is he's always the focal point. Um, but I don't think it's going to be where he's going to need help from his other selves in person. He's not going to need like multiple of him there.
No,
But
no,
they did say that my only hopes is that I think David Tennant did an interview, or it was an interview, and they said someone mentioned all the leaks and the filming and the public filming last year, and he just said that is a fraction of what was filmed because a lot of it was filmed on sets and in like obviously probably sound stages and stuff like that. So that sort of gives me hope. And then they're obviously there's reaching. We as Doctor Who fans, I think we reach and sort of think, oh, what if this? What? But Matt Smith got his he had his hair cut exactly in the style of his Doctor around the same time they were filming everything last year. And I remember people saying online, he's doing Doctor Who. There's no way he's not. But maybe he just likes that hair. Uh, I
maybe.
think I'd love to see Matt Smith back and Peter Capaldi and all of them, even the classic ones again, just like they did in Power of the Doctor, but
Yeah,
something different.
yeah. A lot of people say, do you want it to be like the Edge, like Power Doctor? I don't think they should.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll do that because it's just copying what Power Doctor did.
yeah.
Uh,
No, not again.
No, it was all right. It was okay. Like Power Doctor was one of the better episodes, I'd say, out the run, um, out the years. But not a lot. Like the only thing I'd say I didn't like was that stories was not resolved. Like you've got in Doctor Who years, you got all the storylines, and they are fulfilled before they're finished, before their Doctor
Yes.
is left. Like you've got Bad Wolf, which was still complicated to this day what Bad Wolf is,
Hmm.
but but you've also got like the story with the 11th Doctor, which was quite complicated at the time, trying to get like
Obviously with the crack in the wall
yeah,
when
the crack in the wall and but it all got resolved. Like there was too many things going on in 13th era. Like
mm,
you had the future of Doctor, you have the Watch, you have certain things that didn't get finished.
I
Uh,
really wish they'd explained her more than anything.
yeah,
Um, and I don't think we will get. I don't know if Russell T Davies will give us a definitive answer because I'm not sure if he is a fan of the whole arc. I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully, he just says. I would personally think that the only way that to solve it without messing the numberings up is make her still a Time Lord, but make her one that was just brainwashed by the Master or brainwashed in some way to believe that she was the Doctor.
that's not a
Um,
very good reason.
but I think that's the only way because the only other option would be to mess the numbering up and say that she came from Patrick Troughton. She did her adventures and then she regenerated into John Pertwee, but they have to explain the fact that she decided to wear John Pertwee, Patrick Troughton's clothes when she regenerates again. Because obviously in Spearhead from Space, you see the third Doctor fall out of the TARDIS wearing
Mhm.
the second Doctor's. Yeah, I think he just wrote himself a massive hole. Like he just kept digging himself a hole.
Or there is the option of saying that the future of Doctor is a Doctor from a different reality. Um,
Yes, that would be like the parallel world.
yeah, yeah, like parallel world. So that is an option. Or she ends up being a future Doctor after Shooty. She ends up being an incarnation later on.
Yeah, yeah, like the 16th, or I don't know.
Yeah,
They could say something stupid like, "Oh, she's the 30th or 34th Doctor."
that would make more sense. But then you would have to be going back to all the way back to when the 13th Doctor saw her and
Yeah,
kind
and
of finish that.
uh, there's parts in her like in I think it's Fugitive of the Jadoon. She doesn't recognize things that 13 has seen, and surely if she would be a future Doctor, she'd recognize like the sonic screwdriver, or but maybe I don't know that I don't know if it'll be touched on again. And I didn't like her companions either any of her companions exits. I thought they were all pretty.
Yeah,
Nah,
but
I think Yaz was probably the best handled only because she was there the longest.
it makes sense though. Like that was terrible.
Yeah,
Like how she left. Like the Doctor was like, I can't do this anymore. And then Yaz was like, all right. Like she what you not defensive or anything. You'd think that she would be quite upset.
I think what would have been a good thing, but I don't. They wouldn't have done it. She should have stayed with the Doctor until he's David Tennant. Um, and she'll be in like the first episode of the 60th
Yeah.
or something like that, or there's some sort of revelation where she realizes she doesn't want to be there anymore, and have her leave like that. But have her leave, just go, we're going to have ice cream on top of the TARDIS, and then I'm taking you home, and I don't want to see you again. Or like Dan, where he just goes, all right, yeah, thanks for everything, and she just shuts the door on him, and right, we're off.
Or she just gets killed off.
Yeah, yeah, sort of like a Bill or something like that.
Yeah. What I think would have made 13th like the whole kind of era a little bit better if Bill stayed on. If Bill didn't get killed off. I think that would have
Yeah,
been at least would have made series 11 better than it was. Because I think
either that or have Graham be her only companion because I thought
yeah.
I liked Graham the most.
Yeah, I loved Graham. Graham was awesome.
Yeah, it's Bradley Walsh. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. But I think it was the TARDIS was too crowded. Um, and I don't think Chris Chibnall sort of hit any nails on any heads because he wanted three companions. And when was the last time the Doctor had three companions? I think it was like the early 80s.
Yeah.
It would have been the fifth Doctor with Adric and all that, and he just killed one of them off. They killed one off because there was too many. There's too many leads. With it gets confusing.
It's not enough time to get to know each character.
No, you get no development from it really. Because watching the episodes, what could you honestly tell me about like Nyssa or Ortegan or Adric? Like, there's not. Whereas I think the best sort of I think the best companion dynamic was 11th Doctor, Amy and Rory. I think they were spot on.
Yeah, that was good.
I think them. I think the 10th Doctor with Martha. I think Martha was really good.
Yeah. Well, speaking about Martha, I think out of all the companions, New Who ones, I think she has got a good chance of being in the 60th.
I think so. I've seen interviews. I've seen little bits of panels and stuff like that. I think she's probably the strongest in terms of being in the 60th and being in Torchwood. Because obviously she was in it before when Torchwood. And I
She's
don't
worked
know.
for Unit before as well. Like when she was in Doctor Who prior, she actually worked for Unit. So
Yeah,
so if there's a Unit spin-off, it could be from her starting it off, and then like her character progresses more, because she's even said that she feels like Martha isn't finished. Martha's still
no.
got a lot to say.
When I was younger, I wasn't fond of Martha, and then but she was sort of my companion. Like when I remember Martha the most out of any of them, more than Donna and Rose. But I've rewatched her now, and I've realized she's the closest to his sort of intellect. She's really clever. And she's very much like Liz Shaw in the Third Doctor, where she's not a scientist, but she's an intellect.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Rose, Rose is important and iconic, but at the end of the day, her character is made out to be she's blonde. That's the whole sort of joke. Is she was she's a bit stupid at first, a bit ditzy, and then she sort of grows as a character, really grows in series 2.
Yeah. How do you feel? What was your opinion on when her doctor? Well, when the doctor was with Martha, the doctor always used to bring up Rose all the time. Like,
I didn't like it. I think that's why sometimes I put when someone says like, "Oh, David Tennant's your like the best Doctor," it's moments with Martha that I think he was a dick. Sometimes
he was.
he was so horrible to her, and I think obviously he's getting over the loss of someone so close to him, but this new girl, this Martha, she's trying to do something for him, give him a bit of reason, and all the time he's like, "Oh yeah, I bought Rose here," or "Rose would know, you're a bit useless." Rose, I wish Rose like yeah, and I think
Yeah. Rose
Martha
wouldn't know.
Martha would have been benefited with doctors like 11. I think he would have been really fair and nice with her. Or the ninth Doctor would be brilliant with Martha. I always in my head I always try and mix doctors and their companions around and see would they fit with what doctors would want what companions, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and Martha is definitely the most underrated of the Tennant companions, I'd say.
Yeah. It is, and she was really good. And I think out of the companions, it links in with Donna. She's part of Donna's life. Martha is. She was always part of Donna's life. When you find out Donna and Martha had quite a few episodes together.
Yeah,
and it would make sense. She may be with Unit already now. You don't know what time setting this is going to be set up. You don't know. Like you don't know. What I think is, which will be really cool effect for Doctor Who to do this, will be start the 60 off, or do a few scenes, flashbacks to series 4 or something like that. Start
yeah,
off with the Doctor, what the events of that, what happened. Start off with that, because I think having a few flashbacks would just be really cool and make everyone really excited.
yeah. I think they will do that. No, I don't think they will. I want them to. I think flashbacks would be really good. In sort of just adding a bit more development. I think in the trailer when the Doctor mentions that they're laughing at us and they're in that big sort of open, what would you call it, like a lecture room, like a university. It's like an auditorium, isn't it?
It's like a unit kind of base, I
I
think.
think it's I think it's unit, like the new unit HQ,
Yeah.
obviously, because the old one got blown up. Thanks, Chibnall. Um, I think they don't pan the camera around. They don't show anyone in that room. I think Kate Stewart's probably there. And I've got a feeling maybe Martha might be in the room. She might be working back at unit, or they could pull a real curveball and say that Ace decided to go and work there, or Tegan,
Yeah.
or past companions, because I think
think
that would be a nice way of including them.
I think Mel's there as well. I think Mel,
Yeah.
because Mel's going to be companion with the 15th Doctor. I think she's there. I think she's part of the 60th as well.
I'm a bit skeptical. I love Mel and I love her stories, but I don't want her to be. Obviously, she's known in the community as like the screamer. She screams at everything, and
Yeah,
I don't think she's gonna. I think hopefully she's mellowed out and they make like a couple jokes, or the Doctor will say to her, "Well, you're not screaming as much now, at least," or anything like that. Because I remember there's a clip where she screams at the end of a cliffhanger in a Seventh Doctor story, and it matches the music of the outro. It like she goes that high in her voice. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Mel's going to be connected to Unit. She's got to be.
Yeah, and I think by what we're saying, like, it's crazy really, because we're getting like series 14's already finished and the 60th hasn't even begun. So they're doing actually really well with the 14th series marketing.
Yes.
Really, because you're getting so much, you're kind of evening out. So you get some 60th, some 14th series. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Doctor. I think they're really clever how they've done their clip, because is the Doctor in the unit? Let's say the unit base room, or is he somewhere else?
Yeah, they say like the clip of Ncuti Gatwa where he's like, "What the hell's going on?" Russell T Davies has said that the background used in that scene is not what's actually in the background. They can't use what's there because it will give away too much.
Yeah,
And I've got a feeling he's going to either have the new TARDIS interior, or it's going to be like another character that we've not seen and he doesn't want us to know about. Or a location. But it sort of excites me because him saying that gives me a bit of hope and speculation as to what we could see.
Yeah, something's happening there. Like,
yeah,
something crucial that he doesn't want something to see. Maybe doctors are popping up everywhere. Who knows?
That could be the cameo thing. It could be like a memory.
Yeah.
Or like the Edge, but not.
Yeah, like he's having a memory. Like the toy maker is messing up with his mind, saying, "If you don't do this game for me, I'm gonna wipe everything you've ever done. You're gonna be the one forgetting what you've done." So it's gonna be interesting. If we see the toy maker before the Dawn, like it's gonna be interesting if how much the involvement the toy maker actually has.
Yeah.
Because the only scene that we've seen of the toy maker is that dance with the Doctor, and that clip they shared on Christmas Day or the Christmas Eve last year, a worldwide premiere.
Yeah,
like
or him with the roses or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've not seen anything else.
Yeah. The roses are very intriguing because of Rose. So
yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, like
I
Rose.
didn't think of that.
You've got Rose's daughter as Rose, but could actually Rose? It would make sense for Rose to come back.
He could be. It's either that or he's taunting him by showing him roses and saying like he's saying something basically to wind him up and saying, "Well, this is what you've lost."
Yeah, and then like he could have pictures of Rose in the parallel world, and saying, if you don't do this for me, the parallel world is gone. I'll destroy it. So that is kind of a flashback to the first Doctor as well. So if that is the toy maker.
Yeah.
The toy maker.
Because he only appeared once, didn't he, really?
Yeah. It was
I think it was
game.
Yeah, well, it was only the one time, and then they had who's the other one? The Great Intelligence has only come back like once in the Smith era.
Yeah, the Great Intelligence, yeah.
He's another sort of classic sort of villain.
What is he?
But series 14, I don't know who they've got. I've seen things. Apparently, the Daleks have got to be in at one point. There's no way they're going to do a whole new series with no Dalek. I'm hoping the finale's not. I hope that we don't see a Master or a Dalek or a Cyberman for that entire series if they can help it, unless it's a cameo like in series 1 where the Ninth Doctor sees the helmet in the museum. I want everything. Either I want it to be original or things that we've only seen once or twice. Like I say it all the time when someone asks me, "What do you want to see?" I really want the Slitheen back. I love the Slitheen so much. Like
Yeah.
they're just so stupid and so funny as characters. It hits the nail on the head of like Doctor Who's dumb aliens, like stuff I want to see.
I think they will. Well, I want them to too as well because, like, I don't think Russell's probably thinking, well, like he even knows probably from his run as the like series 2 wasn't the best. Series 2 wasn't the best series because really you see the Daleks and Cybermen near enough the whole season.
Yes, you do.
Like you see them at the start, you see them a little bit in the middle, and then you see them at the end. So like the start of the series, the end of the series. You have at least 4 episodes in that series related to Daleks and Cybermen.
Yeah.
Um,
Out of the what?
13,
Technically, yeah, be third, excluding the Christmas.
Yeah.
That's 12. That's a
Yeah,
third
12.
of the. And then
Yeah.
the other, and then series 2, the other stuff you've got Love and Monsters, Fear Her.
Yeah, they weren't the great episodes, but my all-time favorite episode is in series 2, and that is the Girl in the Fireplace. I
I
love the
thought
Girl
you'd
in the
say that.
Fireplace.
Yeah,
I love that episode.
that's my favorite from series 2 as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I love
Is
it.
that your favorite altogether?
I probably would say so, but it's difficult because my favorite Matt Smith episode would be the 11th hour. I love the 11th hour.
Yeah.
My favorite 12th storyline. It's hard in that one because I don't really like the first series at all. But I did I did like the Caretaker. I did like that.
I have a soft spot only because when series 8 aired, it was when I loved Doctor Who all the time, but it was when I was sort of tuning out a bit because I was busy with other things. And the Caretaker was the only one in series 8, I think, one of 3 episodes. I tuned in and watched it, and I still loved it. So I think that's what brought me back.
It's so funny though, parts like with Danny
yeah,
Pink
I love that one, and I love Robots of Sherwood from series 8. I think that's still a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I'd say series 5. I think series 5 is probably the most consistent in episodes I like because I have the 11th hour,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Amy's Choice, Vincent and the Doctor. I really do like series 5. I think the only ones I'm not really that keen on is coincidentally the Chibnall ones. It's the Hungry Earth and Cold Blooded, or
Yeah.
I'm not. I always sort of skip over them.
I do like I do like them episodes.
Yeah, I like them,
I do like them, but I would speaking of ones we see about, I'd love to see the Silurians actually again. It'd be nice to see them.
You haven't seen them technically since obviously you've got Vastra, Madame Vastra.
Yeah.
But as an actual plot point or as a villain, or because they're not really villains, are they? They're more just sort of they are, but they're not. They're not evil. They're just trying to live. I hope we see them.
Vastra, you know when they were doing Cold Blood Hungry Earth, was she actually one of those people there that came in to be a companion? I always wonder about that because she looks very similar. They all look the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what episode they first show up in. It's the Snowmen, isn't it? I think it's the Snowmen you first see that gang.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got Strax in there, and I really like Sontarans. Series 4 Sontaran 2-parter is probably my most watched 2-parter, I'd say.
I love that episode.
I keep coming back to it all the time just because it's sort of there's a threat there, but it's fun.
It's hilarious. They're so
it's such a good story, and it much like the I think the 2-parters are always, if I like the principle of it, like the parallel Cyberman story in series 2, I think that would have benefited the Cybermen being in those stories would have benefited them. I wouldn't have had them in the rest of the series.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the Master would have been a good fit for series 2, to be honest, as sort of a focal point.
yeah. Because series two, it was just like they weren't. Series two wasn't good. Like the Sidemen and Dodd episodes were good, but that it wasn't. You didn't really have much of a plot point in that.
There's the main plot point because obviously series 1 you've got Bad Wolf,
Yeah,
and series 3 you've got Vote Saxon and You're Not Alone. There's like a key theme for the whole series, and then all you've got in series 2 is Torchwood, and they sort of make hints that the Doctor's going to lose someone, but there's no main focal point like the crack in the wall. I do get what you mean. Series 2, as much as everyone goes, David Tennant's the best Doctor, he's my childhood, his first series is quite weak in my opinion.
it is. And like it's really annoying as well. I loved it as a kid, but looking back
Yeah.
again now, I think like let's compare. If you compare Clara and Rose, like Clara actually is very different with the 11th Doctor to the 12th, and then with Rose, it doesn't take her long to get over the 9th Doctor's gone, and then you fall in love with the 10th Doctor.
And there's no obviously they had the mini episode for Children in Need, Born Again, where they show it's just after the 9th Doctor regenerates, but they don't it's not like Deep Breath where there's that really nice scene where she picks the phone up and it's still the 11th Doctor on Trenzalore calling her, sort of reassuring her you'll be okay, stay with him.
That was
So
nice.
yeah, I do get what you mean. I love that scene. And I kind of hope that one day they don't not redo it. I don't think they should ever retread ground, but to see a past Doctor in a new Doctor's story would always be good.
Yeah, because that's the last episode that Matt Smith has actually appeared in as well.
Yes, it is. So that was what, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is making me feel really old.
Yeah, me too. But like Peter Capaldi, I don't like the the Heaven Sent kind of storylines because I don't like them purely. I didn't like it because it reminds me of a yo-yo that goes round in a circle, and it's going. And when I say it to people who like it, they will say to me, "I can't believe you don't like that." But it's like the Doctor can take 5 minutes doing it, going around saving it, and it take a whole episode to go for a wall to get to Gallifrey.
I do like that episode. That's all I'll say on that matter. But I think Capaldi's last series, series 10, is his strongest.
Yes, I agree.
And I would say in my rankings, it would be in the top 5 of my favorites, just because I think that every single episode, even like the Eaters of Light, which wasn't viewed by many or is sort of not held in high regard, I still really like it.
I watched that. I watched Doctor Who the other week, and I put just a random episode on without knowing what series it is and anything. And I watched Eaters of Light, and I think to myself, hang on a minute, I can't remember watching this episode. I'm watching it and I'm thinking, I'm watching a new episode because I don't remember anything that happened in it.
I feel like that.
But I agree. Series 10 was his best one because he looked pretty weak. If you go to Deep Breath, he looks very different. Like the way he's speaking, even his first line, how do you know how to fly this thing? He was talking very different at the start to what he did at the end. And I think, like you say, it was the best. It was just unfortunate on the bill.
I think Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor has probably got one of the best arcs for a Doctor in terms of his character development. I think you see him go from grumpy old man to sort of lovable granddad in 3 series, and he's definitely one of my favorites. Just I don't know why I just love I think Peter Capaldi's acting's top notch. No matter how bad the story is, he's always given it his all. So yeah, I'd love him back, but obviously I think he's sort of in the grounds of doesn't want to come back yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, they did. They did that for Spider-Man, though, didn't they? They all said, "Oh, I'm not coming
Yeah,
back." It's very convincing as well.
yeah.
They
They're like,
were
no, no, I'm not doing it.
like, especially
Um,
Andrew Garfield. He was like, "No, I'm not coming. Definitely not." Very convincing as well. Like you would believe him.
yeah,
Um,
um, n- I don't want to steer away from Doctor Who, but when I went to see No Way Home on the release day, it was probably one of the best experiences in the cinema, but purely because I had no idea what was going to be in it.
that's it.
So I hope the 60th there's some sort of, even for a cameo. I know some people don't like cameos, and they say, oh well, it's a bit of a waste of an actor, or but if the actor's happy with it and it sort of flows in the story, why not?
Yeah, the 60th is the perfect time to do that
Yeah.
because
uh,
once Series 14 kind of starts, like next year, you want new, fresh people. You don't want the same. Like I know we're getting Mel. I know you might get a few people, but you don't want the constant rivers. You don't want the constant companions come back all the time.
yeah,
They've done that for years, and we want new people to remember for like the next 10.
yeah. I think bringing back some legacy characters is always good for sort of connecting, because obviously if say series 14 started and there was no connection to any other series, it'd be like the revival where they'd be taking a massive gamble, and it could either pay off like the revival did, or it could flop on its face. So I think they're doing the smart thing by having returning. I'm guessing they're going to have returning villains,
Mm,
and they've got returning companions and legacy characters like Kate Stewart. But everything else, the Doctor, the companion, the TARDIS, the Screwdriver, everything's going to be fresh.
yeah,
And just think, we haven't even had we don't know what the TARDIS looks like yet. I don't want to know. I really hope I don't.
me too.
Um, and we haven't seen Shooty Gatwa's Screwdriver. He's going to get a new one. He's got to get a new one. I'm hoping he does, because I want another character options prop in my room.
Yeah. Do you think he'll get a new one? Like, do you think
I
he'll get one straight away or anything?
I kind of hope he goes hands free for a bit,
Mm.
and doesn't have it, because I do think that the sonic screwdriver is used to get them out of problems. Especially the 13th Doctor. I found her.
Use
She
it like a
she
wand.
probably, yeah, hers was just like, oh, this is an issue. The like everything should wave that bloody screwdriver at. Um, whereas someone like, I don't know, Capaldi only really used his one a few times.
He didn't really use it, did
Um,
he?
I hardly saw it. They had that nice the his actual blue screwdriver, which I love his screwdriver, and I think you see him use it probably 10 times in the whole series. Like,
Yeah, and he used it right at the end to blow all the Sidemen up.
yeah,
Um,
I think that was probably his best use for it.
yeah, it was very good. But yeah, I think Shooty. I want Shooty inside to be. I want it to be like purple. I think if he gives me purple kind of orange vibes.
Hmm.
Purple Sonic or orange Sonic. Have some different color light. I like the blue lights, but I want a different color light that we haven't had before. Like green was a bit different when we had Matt Smith's one. Have a
I
bit
want it to
different.
be sort of like Capaldi. I love Capaldi's not second. So obviously Matt Smith got his new TARDIS, didn't he, in series
Yeah,
7B, and Capaldi's is just Matt Smith's with a blackboard and then the lights orange. Um,
yeah,
but I really hope that we get this large, vast room to really show the scale of it. Um, and I hope, yeah, I'd like it to be purple. I think purple would be a really cool, or sort of like the color of the time vortex or whatever, and show like maybe that's the energy that's going through the column in the middle. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping we get something really stylized. I think we will as well, because
yeah.
they're keeping it under wraps.
Especially with what all the clothes that he's gonna be having. Very stylish.
His first series, he's already got like the biggest wardrobe out of every Doctor.
Yeah, I think it's because of how much money they got now. Like it's much different than what it was just
Yeah,
wearing the odd maybe two
that's
costumes.
that's the thing. It's always iconic. Like I like the fact that, I don't know, Eccleston only changed the jumper, or Tennant's only got two coloured suits. He just changes the ties out. I like that, because it does create more of a character, but it's not natural. Like, this Doctor's wearing the same suit for 6 stories in a row. Like, he must stink by the end of it if he's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
changing it.
yeah.
Um,
It's
but yeah,
crazy.
I like the fact he changes it, and obviously you see that in Capaldi, Capaldi has a few costume changes, but then you go to 13 and she changes her t-shirt or turns her jacket inside out or whatever it is.
That was a bit
Like,
different.
yeah, it was different. Like, yeah, again, it's an iconic costume. You always remember it. It's just, at least with Ncuti Gatwa, he's changing his costume. My favorite is still the leather jacket. That
Yeah,
looks quite like Donna's.
that was
But
a good one.
that one and the blue suit that's used in the 1960s episode where he's had his hairstyle differently, and Millie Gibson. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
I think the easiest one for people to, if they want to cosplay it, would be the orange, or the one where he's wearing the orange t-shirt. That is very simple.
Was that
Uh,
the original reveal
yeah,
one?
yeah, the first reveal one, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like to me that he's going to be changing a couple times in the his Christmas special.
Yes.
Because they shared an image of him actually wearing that in like a room that had kind of,
On a set. Yeah.
yeah, on the set.
Is
They
that
shared,
with the hat?
yeah, he's wearing the hat, yeah. He was wearing the hat, and then there was a scene, well, not a scene, like him at a church or a graveyard in the one you were talking about,
Mm,
like the one like Donna's kind of thing, and he's looking distraught. So to me, I did do a video about it. I think that perhaps like there's a possibility that Donna might not die at all. They just go on their adventures, the Ncuti, and
mm,
Donna, and then at the start of the Christmas special, Donna maybe dies or something like that,
mm.
or something happens because Ncuti's doctor. He's already said that he's going to be quite vulnerable. He
Yeah,
is. So
he's
something's
probably going to be
happened.
scarred from the events of
Yeah,
the 60th. The
something's
toy
happened.
maker like changing him, or if that's what they say, obviously the main plot point is it's the toy maker making him look like David Tennant, which is what everyone says online.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's something different. But one thing that's going through my head when you were mentioning those costumes, especially for like people like you, the cosplay side of it, it's going to get pricey.
it
getting
is. Yeah,
getting all the for people that collect the costumes, and they're going to be spending a fortune because obviously
it is
David
strange.
Tennant's new costume, and which
Yeah,
you've got as well, and
yeah,
might I say
definitely.
it very impressive.
Yeah, yeah, because I got it. I bought it, and the you don't want to wear the coat a lot. A lot. It's boiling. You get really hot in that.
Yeah, I was going to
Uh,
say it must be like thick wool at
yeah,
least.
because I had to go to the tailors when I got mine. Because I went to a cosplay. It was actually when I met David Tennant in May. Um, and I was in my 10th Doctor stuff, so I found someone who's actually autistic as well. And then they've actually come on here to be involved in this series as well. And
Oh, brilliant.
I said to them, "You got a 14th Doctor suit? Like, how have you got that? I've looked everywhere and I can't find it." And he tells me where it is, and I look, well, and then like, there's loads of them. It's actually quite easy.
Yeah.
Um, and
Oh,
then and then I buy mine. Takes a few weeks to get here. Um, and it's really cool. But yeah, like it's very hard. It's very hard. People always ask me where I get my 10th Doctor suit, and I always say I don't know. I think I got it from Germany. It was a Christmas present. It was hard to get. It was very hard to get. Um, but Shooty, it will be the hardest for sure because
oh, and yeah, I think because the show's going to be we are lucky that we're what would you call the original fans. When this hits Disney Plus, I could guarantee that Doctor Who is going to go astronomically, like it's going to become so popular.
it is. It's going to be popular than it's
and there's
ever
going to be
been.
so many new fans that want to go to Comic-Con or want to cosplay and write their own story. It's going to be brilliant. But the cosplay inside, you're going to have a nightmare trying to find the suits because
Yeah.
they'll be gone.
They
But
they will be very expensive. Like especially if most of these are just going to be for one episode.
mm,
Um, it looks like the first two that they've showed. The one where he's wearing the jacket, the one with the orange top. I've already got an orange top, so I'm sorted for that. I don't need to buy an orange top. Um, but like if you want to you want to be really detaily, like you want to get the rings that he has, the little tattoos he has on his fingers,
yeah,
the necklaces that he's got, all time lordy. That's just extra things. If you want to be you want to try and really look like the part.
Hmm.
But I'm not looking at any of that yet. I'm like, ask for it for Christmas, because if I get it on Christmas Day, I can watch the episode, do a couple of videos straight
In the
after.
costume.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
costume. And like people have got it already, and to me, like I say, I got the 14th Doctor because there's actually a thing I can do with it. There's some scenes in the trailers where
Yeah.
I went to where the 60th anniversary was filmed, because I went to Wales, and I went to all the different locations I tried to get to. So I went to the 60th anniversary one. People were looking because it's public can go down there. I'm on the 60th. I went where you see the toy maker and David Tennant dance.
Yeah.
Got all that around
Oh,
there.
yeah, I saw that one the other day. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I haven't dressed up as Doctor Who or the Doctor. See. I've said Doctor Who. I hate it when people call him Doctor Who.
yeah.
It's always the Doctor.
Matt Smith likes
No,
it though.
really.
Yeah, he said, say Doctor Who again to Clara.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no, he did. Yeah, I like that. He says.
yeah,
The last time I dressed up was probably I would have been about 16, and it was a Matt Smith costume, and the costume itself was good. It's just the hair. I'd messed the hair up, so but I'd grown my hair out so I could do it. And instead of doing some sort of Matt Smith thing, I've done it so it's like my forehead's up here, and I've like parted it, and I didn't look like Matt Smith. I looked more like Charlie Chaplin or something like that. Like I had such like weird hair. And then I've got another photo before that of me when I was about 5, stepping out the TARDIS, and that's the only Comic Con I've been to was when I was about 5.
yeah.
But yeah,
I've only started going to them really this year. Before this year, I've never been to any of them.
I'd love to go to one day. I
Yeah,
just think that'd be so much fun.
they are very
Um,
good fun. Like they are though, because you get to see the people that you want to see. Very
yeah,
expensive though. So if you buy your cosplay, you say that's expensive, but it's even more expensive to say if you want to meet I'm Matt Smith. Um, it depends what you want. Like so,
yeah,
sometimes it's upon you can have autograph photo. Sometimes they have a couple of photos that you can have. When I saw David Tennant, I had a picture with the TARDIS, one with just a plain wall, and then one with a
mm,
Dalek. And then that's 3 photos, put in frames for you. But yeah, it's very expensive, but it's
yeah.
also nice.
I've seen some of them are. It depends on the actor, doesn't it? And
Yeah,
sometimes
like
they charge a bit more.
I guess if they come overseas as well, it costs more because of how much they travel.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, 100%. And the thing is, people might say, "Oh, well, that's a bit excessive." Well, if you don't have, there's no one forcing you to do it. If these actors mean a lot to you, which they do to people like us,
hmm,
of course we're going to pay to meet David Tennant or pay to speak to I don't know Christopher Eccleston or something. It'd be a joy. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, or just be lucky enough to see them out in the street in public.
yeah.
Um,
I saw a TikTok of once. Someone all of a sudden sees David Tennant. He says, "Hi, I'm a big fan," and he's like, "Oh, you're right." So they
yeah.
do. So they do go out in public. They put their hoods up and really
Well,
secret.
my dad actually is really weird. My dad probably about 4 or 5 years ago, he was in London working, and he was on his break or something, and he was God knows where he was. I'll have to ask him one day and get the full story. But he was in a park, maybe. I think it was a park. Oh, have you seen like a kid that's where kids ran off to? Um, and Dad was like, yeah, and help the helpless man find his kids. And then Dad looked at him and went, "You're Christopher Eccleston, aren't you?" And he went, yeah. And he sort of chatted to Christopher Eccleston for a couple of minutes, and then they went their separate ways. But I'll have to definitely ask him about that because he called me and he was like, "I think I've just met Doctor Who,"
Yeah,
and I
he must have
freaked out.
been. Yeah, it's crazy that kind of stuff happens because
Yeah, it's just like pure sort of chance, isn't it? Especially that. But he was on like a day out with his family. I said, "Did you get a photo with him?" And he's like, "No. Why would I?" I was like, "Why wouldn't you?" I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
I would have asked him straight away,
yeah.
even if he'd said no or whatnot. But it's worth it. You don't ask, you don't get. But
That's
no,
it. That that's exactly the thing that the doctor I had on my podcast said. If you don't ask, you don't get.
yeah,
Because I at the end of the episode I said, thank you for coming on because you took out your personal time
mm,
to come on, and the doctor says, "Oh, you've asked me, Mason, and yeah, you are. So okay, on, because not every doctor would do that, or not every person who's quite, let's say, popular would
Hmm.
do that, or like famous, let's say. But yeah, if you don't ask, you don't get. Like,
No, absolutely.
if you want to go to Comic-Con, try and interview someone that's there, write them a letter. That's what I do. By chance, they'll reply, but if they
That's
don't,
the thing.
it's
You
fine.
miss the chances you don't take. So you might as well take the chance,
Yeah,
and it might pay off for you.
yeah,
But I think yeah, Comic Con is just it seems like an ideal place because it's geek central, isn't it? It's where everyone that you'd feel good around is. There's no one there. Everyone's there for the same reason.
yeah. They're all there to
Um,
see the people you love on the telly.
yeah, and dress up and whatnot and take photos and buy merch. And that's the
Yeah,
thing. I think that would be the main thing is if I took money to Comic Con, I'd be poor. I'd buy
yeah,
everything.
yeah. Anything Doctor Who you want.
Oh, straight away, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Like it was only the other day I went into the shop, like where I'm from, and like they had this Kate Stewart photo like
Mm,
on the plaque saying it's signed by Kate Stewart.
mm.
Because it is actually signed by her because you've got all the paperwork, and then you also have one from Sophie Aldred
Oh
as
wow.
well. And well, I got the Sophie Aldred. I've got the other one here, but the other one's pretty big. But this is the Sophie Aldred one
Oh
that I
wow.
found, and it's in like a frame already.
That's.
Um, so I go to the shop and I buy it.
I saw one. It must have been a few months ago, and it was in like a like what I'd call like a retro knick-knacky shop. It's like a place like an antique shop.
Yeah.
And for a while they had a boxed 10th Doctor action figure from the old line,
Mm.
and next to it was I can't think who it is. It was a photo. It was a signed photo of a weeping angel. So it was someone who was involved in Blink. I don't know if it was Sally Mulligan or um I feel horrible for not remembering his name, but the guy in the
Um,
shop.
yeah, I know his name. What's his name? Finley. His actual name is Finley.
Okay, yeah. So it might have been one by him, or it might have been whoever played the angels, because obviously they dress the angels. They're not actually statues. Some of them are real people. Um,
Yeah, and
God knows. Oh
that
well.
it's nice if you get any kind of thing because at some point on my wall here will be all my Doctor Who kind of autographs, maybe photos up there.
Yeah.
So at some point I need to put that up. Um, but it's always nice. I, if I go to a Comic Con, I always prefer to get a photo because it's more better. But if I get
It's
autographs
got
too,
you in
it's
it as well.
good.
It's a bit more personal.
Yeah,
Um,
to say you've met them.
I would do that, and especially if I met David Tennant. I can't find it now, which shows how much of a terrible person I am. But I had the steelbook for series 2, and I know as much as we've spoken earlier about series 2, but I found it in HMV and it was like £20. This was this when it first released. I bought it, and now online it's like a ridiculous amount, but it means a lot to me if I could have someone from series 2, even if it was someone who like Peter Kay who played the Zorbaloff, if he signed it, like that would complete it. But
Yeah,
no, the only steelbook I've got on my shelf I'm looking up at is series 8. Another series which is like we've said isn't our favorite, but
yeah.
yeah.
Like I would say my favourite seasons of Doctor Who would be although I did like series 1, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite series.
Hmm.
I did like a certain episode in it, like maybe like what was it, the Jagrafest one. I didn't really like that one.
Oh, the long
Yeah,
game.
yeah, the
Yeah,
long game. I didn't like the long game. Like
Boomtown.
Boomtown, I didn't like it. But the ones I did like, my favourite ones in series 1 would be I did like Department of the Ways. That was a really good storyline.
Hmm.
Like the last 2 episodes. I did like Father's Day. That was one of my
I love
favourites.
Father's Day. Yeah,
Father's Day is awesome. I just love the music in it. I'm one for loving Doctor Who music,
yeah.
like the themes. Like these
I've
last
I've
couple of
always
years, I
got the
haven't been a
soundtrack,
fan. Yeah, I love
Spotify.
it. I love it. Whenever I write a podcast up, I've got music and Doctor Who music in there. But yeah, so I like Father's Day. There is one other one. I think Dalek. Dalek is a really good one. I love
Yeah,
Dalek, but my favourite series will probably be 3, 4, and 5. That
Yeah.
they are the three I would say are my best. I do like series 1 too. Series 1 a bit better than series 2, but 3 you got the Master. Series 4 so good, like the whole journey's end and everything
Yeah.
like that. And series 5 was really good as well. Like every episode in series 5 was awesome.
I would say series one is my most watched, purely because as much as those episodes like The Long Game and Boomtown, I'll still watch them over the weaker episodes of other series.
Yeah.
But I'd say my favorites are probably series 1, series 4. I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
It's,
Like, it's just
series
perfect.
4 is just awesome. I love the Vesta Narada
Yeah,
episodes. Like Midnight. That's an underrated episode actually, but it's
I
very
love
good.
Midnight. Turn Left is like my favorite sort of what if.
Yeah.
Um,
Turn Left's good.
I'd say series 1, series 4, series 5, um, and series 10. I really like Capaldi's last one. There, if that was my top 4, which is a weird numbering, because you usually do 3 or 5, don't you? But
Yeah.
I
That
like all the others.
yeah.
Even the 13th Doctor, I love all of her series. Um,
Yeah, they are good series. It's just isn't complete as enough as it should be.
yeah,
Um,
it's unfair to compare them to
no, you
other
can't compare
series.
them. You can't compare them. I guess it's not nice to compare them in a way because you're saying one's better than the other. It's just your personal opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we don't like series 2 that much. People might love series 2.
yeah. I know.
Like
I know a lot of people that do.
yeah, yeah. Like my favorite episodes from series 2, but I don't like the rest of it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like, what is your opinion of Love and Monsters? Do you like that one?
I watched Love and Monsters last week or the week before, really recently, and I genuinely think that it's grown on me. I quite like it. Um, yeah, I like Love and Monsters. I'm not in the sort of bandwagon of hating it or calling it the worst ever episode of Doctor Who. There's no worst episode in my opinion. There's just
No.
ones weaker than others. But
There's ones
um,
that you get bored of, and there's ones that you can watch all the time. Um, there's some scene we have our favorite scenes in Doctor Who.
mhm,
Like there's some scenes you'll play over and over again. Like in series 10, I do play scenes quite a bit over and over again. But there's one in series 10 I love. Is that two-part? I think it's the one the end of the world. I think it almost the end of the world or something like that. The one with the
yeah,
pyramid. The one with the
yeah,
pyramid where the Doctor goes blind or admits that he goes blind. I love at the end, like the cliffhanger at the end of the first part
mm,
where the Doctor or the Bill is sacrificing or something of hers to the people.
yeah.
Um, and I love that scene because, like the Doctor says, "Bill, what have you done?" And then she's like,
Oh, where he
"You-
gets his sight
yeah,
back.
yeah, he gets his sight back." I really like that. I like the music. I always play it because I like the music and I like that he has his sunglasses off, the way he's running. I really like
Yeah.
that. I like that scene, and I don't think they've ever released the music for Series 10. So
No, they haven't a
no,
lot because I've got the Shepherd's Boy, which is obviously used in Series 9 and series a bit in Series 8 and 7. But the Shepherd's Boy is used in Series 10, and there's loads of soundtracks from Series 10 that now that Murray Gold's back, um, I might just turn into an obsessive fan and beg him on Twitter, please, please, please add it. I just want a full set because we've got 1 and 2 are in like the same album, aren't they? They're in the Series 2 album.
mm,
Um, and then 3, 4, 5. Every other series has got an album apart from 10,
that's it.
and I don't think any of the Whitakers got, because a lot. That's something I found. I appreciate the new take they took on music in the Chibnall era, but it was more for ambience, wasn't it? It wasn't
Didn't
actually
really work. I didn't really hear most of
no.
it.
Yeah, apart from the theme, which the
Yeah,
theme was still good.
like
Um,
Captain Jack's theme was all right. Yeah,
yeah,
a little bit. Like, but
and I think her regeneration.
liked her regeneration. I did that was good.
Yeah,
It's probably one of my favorites. I'd say. Um, because it just you get to the point.
Yeah,
You just get to the point and it's done. You're not talking to yourself for a good 6 minutes. Although Capaldi done that, I did like it. It was good. Must have
it
had
was
to
different.
rehearse that. Must have been so long to rehearse all those words though.
Oh yeah, I would mess that up so badly. It takes me ages to when I do scripts for my sort of thing. I have to sit there and memorize it, and I don't even need to memorize it. I'm reading it off of my tablet or my phone, and I still take ages. I'm terrible at remembering and sitting there and going like I just did again.
Mm,
But yeah, props to him for doing something different.
yeah. But Jodie, right, very good regeneration, very different on the cliff. Which she wasn't actually on the cliff, but
No,
she was all green screen. But it was very nicely done. I did like Jodie's. Probably one of my favourite regenerations, I would say. Not just because David Tennant's back, but
yeah,
it was a nice, good addition to it. But
I,
it was nice.
I like all. I don't think there's one regeneration, including the classic era, that I don't watch and like love. Um, I still think my favorite regeneration is Eccleston into Tennant, just because it's short and sweet. He makes a little quip about his character, makes a joke, reassures Rose, and he's gone. It's not like Tennant. I think as much as everyone loves David, like the 10th Doctor,
Too long.
it's too long. His prolonged life sort of wasn't needed, but I can understand it was a bit fan servicey, and I appreciate seeing Sarah Jane and Captain Jack. I like all that.
Mm.
But going back and watching it, it was just a bit long, and I don't like his last line of "I don't want to go" puts a bit of a downer on Matt Smith straight away, because you think, well, that he didn't want to go, his body wasn't ready, so I'm not. I think Matt
Mm,
Smith's regeneration is a lot better in the terms of he's accepted it.
I agree. Maybe that's one of the reasons why David Tennant's back now, just to say I am ready to go.
Yeah,
Um,
I really hope that's his last line.
I am ready to go, and and I think the regeneration should be very similar to when the Ninth Doctor regenerated into the 10th Doctor. Like
Yes.
very quick. I don't think he needs to say a lot. It doesn't. He knows what he needs to do. But for, for Matt Smith's regeneration, I liked it. But I didn't like it at the same time. I liked
Yes.
it because it was left on a high note. Like being really happy. It was quite happy.
Yeah, he accepted it, didn't he?
Yeah,
He knew
he
he was
accepted it.
changing.
But you probably know what I'm going to say. Why I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I understand why it was the way it was. Because prior to the regeneration, he's regenerated. They're doing a long regeneration speech
Mm.
outside to get back to a young version
Yeah.
of him. But I didn't like it because it was like a sneeze. And I
Yes,
don't.
there was no explosion
Yeah,
or
there was no explosion or anything. There's not really regeneration energy going anywhere. But the thing I didn't like was what Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor said first. He said, "How do you know how to fly this thing?" And really, the Doctor, even though the Doctor's changed, the Doctor
Hmm.
should know how to try fly the TARDIS. Anyway, so I didn't really understand that at the time why he said that.
I still think his first line of him saying about the kidneys, I loved that.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
But I think they should have ended it like that and just him said a different line, not like we're crashing, but him said, God no, I'm not a writer. I wouldn't write it,
Mm.
but do you know what I mean? Give him a different line that sort of reassures you that he's the Doctor or something like that.
It was almost like a little bit American
Yeah,
at the
it was a
start as
bit
well.
it was a bit Marvel. It's a bit like, oh,
Yeah,
he's right behind me, isn't he? Or something like
yeah.
he
Do
could
you know
have
how to
said
fly
something.
this thing?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
He could have
Um,
said something like, even if he'd said, "Don't worry, I know how to fly this thing," it would have just given it a bit more. It would have
yeah.
given you another laugh.
Because putting it into imagine we're the companion or something, and then the doctor saying it's almost like they've changed. They knew how to fly the TARDIS, now they don't, and then you'll be panicking like, oh,
I would
what's going?
be, I'd be bricking it.
Yeah.
I'd be, oh yeah, that's me. I'm finished.
And then it goes inside the dinosaur,
I don't even know how
and
it got there.
yeah.
Got
But
there.
that was actually on set apparently. That whole the dinosaur.
Really?
Yeah, that was Stephen Moffat shared a picture like not so I think it might have been last year or earlier. this year. It was literally confirming, saying 8 years later, here's the truth. That this actually is on the set. He had a mat, he had a whole dinosaur, like all that was actually on set. So no one saw it. Um, which is really cool.
Hmm.
I think, but it's very interesting. All the regenerations, I think, they're all good in their own way. They all have their
Yeah.
some may not good as others, but they're all good. It's good that every Doctor gets a regeneration.
I find
I,
it weird that Christopher Eccleston was obviously the ninth Doctor. He's the first Doctor to be stood up whilst regenerating. I think
oh
because
yeah,
all the classic Doctors they all fell over, or like the eighth Doctor was lying in a morgue, or like that. Not one of them was stood up or had any sort of
regeneration energy going.
no. Apart, I think if I had to pick a, without sounding bad, if I had to pick a least favorite, it would be the sixth Doctors, purely because I can understand why Colin Baker would return. Absolutely, I can understand, especially how he was treated. But for his Doctor to just bang his head on the console and that be like ends his incarnation, it's a bit. It's not exactly anything like sacrificing yourself or
He turns over, and then the
um.
new Doctor is.
Yeah, and that obviously that was Sylvester McCoy, wasn't it, wearing a wig? Because he didn't come back to film his regeneration. Um, so yeah, I think that, but still, I still love that one. It's iconic to me. Um,
Yeah, they are all in their own way. They have to be iconic, and I don't think it matters if the 14th Doctor doesn't get regeneration because that we've seen David Tennant regenerate before.
yeah,
But we want that. We want him to regenerate, don't we? We want to see him regenerate properly
I,
into.
I would like, I would like maybe for the special, his last special, the giggle or whatever it will be called if it's changing its name. I'd love him to say something like "I'm ready to go" and then step into the TARDIS and it dematerializes and then it plays the credits and then we see the regeneration maybe in the Christmas special, like that's the opening scene is him changing, or we just don't see it at all. I
Or you
understand.
get like a Children in Need thing, or
Oh
a
yeah,
mini episode.
exactly that.
You might get
Yeah, because
a little bit more.
that'll be around the same time, won't it?
Yeah, that'll be before, I think. So you
I
should get something like that.
think children in if just children in need is like the beginning of November, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or this is like, do you think we'll get a trailer then for Children in Need?
I think there's a good possibility. Because they do like to do things around events,
Mm,
don't they? You saw with like Eurovision, like they did,
comic relief.
yeah, comic relief. Like with it wasn't much with comic relief other than we had
No,
just as
I was expecting more of that.
yeah, like that was when like David Tennant was on TikTok that on the page on
Yeah, he was on the live.
yeah, he was on the live. He had no clue how to use the thing. Um, but with that, I think we will get a trailer. I think we get a whole trailer. I think it's better to have because they've done this. They like weeks. I think every week they did like they're confirming what each special is. So what special one is and 2 and 3. They did that
Mm,
on a 3 week slot, which really we knew what the special 3 was because it was last. It weren't going to be special 2.
yeah.
But I think what they'll do is hopefully we'll get some more posters because they haven't done posters for all. Like
Yeah.
I think we'll get a Neil Patrick Harris poster at some point.
I'd love more.
Um, yeah, more posters. Because they can't. There's not many more posters they can do. They could do. I don't know. A Sylvia poster. Donna's husband's poster because they're already confirmed to be in it. So all of them confirmed. Do their posters. Wilfred is going to be in it, but they haven't confirmed that. But we know he's going to be in it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he's I don't know if they didn't film everything they wanted
no,
to, did they?
no,
Or
they didn't, did they? So I think there should be enough for at least a few
I
scenes with
hope
him.
so. He'll be in it. There's no Russell T Davies has shown such sort of respect and that's the main word. He's shown such respect for Bernard Cribbins. Obviously, I don't think he got a mention at the TV awards in the posthumous or like the loss of actors. But I think they'll do him justice and
Have a
he'll have a
good
lovely
goodbye.
end. Yeah,
And
I
it's
just
last
yeah.
thing he did as well, so it would be awesome for him. But I think we'll get a trailer. I think we'll get a full length trailer, probably around like you say, end of October, maybe. Uh, um, we'll get a full-length trailer at the end of September, like you said.
Yeah.
Start of October, we should. And I say about 2 minutes, 2 minutes clip, a 2 minutes full-length trailer. Not giving away much. It would be hard, too, but
But I don't want anything ruined.
no, you don't want
Or
anything ruined. That's the thing. So they might do a small one, like similar thing to they had the 50th anniversary, because that didn't give anything away. Literally, you've just had the name of the episode, so you could have just the 14th Doctor saying, "Get ready for the 60th anniversary specials." So you could do something like that, like they did for the 50th, but the 60th.
the 50th anniversary's trailer, I think, is probably my favorite, and this is me being biased because of how much Doctor Who means to me, but it's my favorite trailer for anything ever.
It's
Purely
awesome.
because it's just so fan servicey, but so good at the same time. Like, it didn't give anything away. Like you said, it gave the name of the episode, showed us that Matt Smith was front and center, but it just showed everyone that little bit of history and told people the date, and then it didn't say anything else. Just come back on this day and watch it. And yeah,
What I actually think is going to happen, I love that trailer too. What I think will happen is September time, we'll get the announcements of the days and the dates.
yes,
I think they'll do that first before they do anything, and then they'll promote it. We get lots of marketing for the 60th September onwards. I think. I would love one on my birthday, because my birthday is in September.
oh,
Um,
is it?
yeah, my birthday's on the 12th, so you could potentially get one on the 12th, but who knows? It'd be a nice birthday present
Mine's
from
just been. I'm trying to think what was.
yeah,
Mine was at the beginning of mine was the beginning of July, and I don't think there was
yeah.
anything that week. I think it
No, I
was
don't think
literally the
so.
week before the Sonic.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it would have been nice, but yeah, I don't think I think I may have had like a big fin. Oh no, Big Finish had a sale on my birthday. That was my treat,
Oh, that was your treat. That was your
but
treat.
I didn't benefit from it. I forgot to buy a Big Finish story.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. But then you got your Sonic um screwdriver. So
yes,
yeah,
yeah, and that will be. I'm gonna get definitely. Oh no, blur. There we are. I'm definitely gonna get the other version eventually.
yeah, I will too.
Because that's going to be more of like a wide release, isn't it? That's going to be the official
Yeah,
sort of toy.
they
Um,
are. Yeah, that is gonna
and
be a good one.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the I'm looking for. I used to collect as a kid. I used to get the action figures, the character options figures.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the whole. They're gonna. I think they're gonna do a whole set of them. I'm gonna have them all like a kid again. Um,
I want them. I've got when they did the regeneration set. I got that. Like I got the regeneration set. Like you got the 30th
yeah,
Doctor. 45.
I was gonna get that,
Yeah.
but what did I get recently? Oh, I can't. He's my sort of nerdy shelf, I call it. I've got the B&M 3-pack of the 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
And the B&M near me at the moment, they've run out of the 10th Doctors now, but they've got the 9th Doctor and Rose set, and it's been there probably for about a year now, and nobody's buying any of it. So I might have to go back up there soon and pick it up because it's got some pretty good figures in it. It's got like the hologrammed 9th Doctor, so they pick that up. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get some news soon.
I hope so. I think the merchandise will be much better now because we've got Russell T Davies at the helm.
Yes,
So I think we haven't had good merchandise properly since Matt Smith. I think.
and even then they cut everything. I'd say probably around series 6 when they stopped doing the 5-inch action figures.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only thing they did maybe for the whole of Capaldi was a few figures here and there and his screwdriver.
Yeah, that is it.
Um,
Like mini figures they did with the 11th Doctor, which I really liked. But I went to Tesco's and you just go into the aisle and they would have all these Doctor Who mini figures, and they were awesome. But yeah, I definitely stuff needs to improve with the merchandise front
yeah,
because like B&M will be the place you go. Normally not really Toys R Us anymore. So
hopefully they come back, or maybe Smiths, but even I had a Smiths near me just shut, so hopefully they don't go bust.
hopefully
Um,
they
but
need to.
I want them to bring back the the Toys R Us display. Did you ever see the massive displays
Yes,
they
yeah,
used to have
yeah,
in
yeah.
there?
They
I
used to have
loved them.
everything, like shelves full, a
Yeah,
whole
it was like
aisle.
figures, helmets, play sets, screwdrivers. It was just perfect. And from memory, I remember someone left a comment on a video I made about it, and they said it used to play this really loud. It was either the theme song or it was the TARDIS like landing, and it was really loud. And as soon as I read that, it gave me like a flashback to being a kid again,
Yeah.
walking past it, and it just blaring the music in my ear.
It,
So
it,
yeah,
it's so awesome. Like years ago, I went to the Doctor Who experience in London, and it was when Matt Smith was the Doctor, and saw the Weeping Angels, didn't blink, told everyone not to blink, was being really serious about it. And people thought it was joking. I've been serious. I didn't blink the whole time I went through the Weeping Angel section. And I go through. I say, and I said to my mum, "You didn't blink, did you?" And I was like, "Yeah. Why would I blink?" Like, didn't listen to me, you'd been a goner. Um, but
yeah.
but yeah, I want that kind of stuff to come back, like have Doctor Who experiences. I know we just had the one like in Liverpool and Edinburgh, but that was a
I would
little.
have. Yeah, it was
They
a
were
pop up,
okay.
wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was just like you say, not a proper immersive experience that you want like we did
I
before.
hope they bring back the one in Cardiff.
Yeah, I never got to
I
go
think
to
because
that one, but I'd love to go to it.
it's it's Cardiff is basically like the what would you call it?
Doctor
It's
Who
like the
land.
heart of Doctor Who. Yeah, because it's where they do most of the filming, um, and it just makes sense having it there. It's either Cardiff or London, but yeah,
Cardiff,
Cardiff for
London,
me.
Swansea, Newport, all those kind of areas.
Yeah,
Sometimes London, because that's where the power state is. Um, Part of the power state. Like with the
yeah,
Ninth Doctor, the power state was actually in Cardiff. It was just some flats in Cardiff, and then
yeah,
when they've done it, it's quite hard. It's quite risky to go to the power estate flat in London because it's kind of an area that you don't really want to go to on your
yeah.
own, isn't it? Um, but I one day I would love to go to it, but it's just a flat. I think it has like 10th Doctor Forever on a brick and wall I saw.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw a photo of that, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, like
And I know they film in really obscure places, like
yeah,
they filmed in a place for the 13th Doctor. They were filming in Gosport down by Portsmouth
yeah. I
for
saw that.
I think it was for the Witchfinders episode. They were filming like a forest in Gosport. Um
Really odd
and
places.
I'm relatively close to, like, by car journey I could get to that area if someone mentioned it. And I remember my parents, they were like, "Do you want to go to it?" And I was like, "No, I'm out that day." And I was like, "Well, I could have gone and met her." Um and I think, yeah, again, my dad was probably like itching to go.
Yeah,
Um
yeah,
but yeah, because we Doctor Who sort my parents grew up watching it, obviously in the 60s, 70s, 80s. I think Tom Baker's more their Doctor, but when it come back, they're the ones that sort of showed me it. Um,
mm,
and I fell in love with it. One of my earliest memories, I think, ever is from the Slovene two-parter of series one. I must have been so young, maybe um
mm.
and it just ingrained in my mind. And I thought, well, I loved being scared as a kid, clearly, because I kept coming back.
It was scary. Doctor Who was good when it's scary.
Yeah,
We need it to be scary again.
it was.
Okay.
I'd love it a bit more darker. That not well, no, not dark, not even darker. Make it like the. I'm hoping it's a lot more like the Russell T Davies era, the first era, where some of the ideas were terrifying. Like, I don't know, for some reason, I think out of everything as a kid that scared me, it was the Cybermen, and really stupidly the Absorbaloff. I was so scared by him. So the kid who designed that did such a good job because
It was scary. It's weird. It was annoying. It was just comforting to watch that happen to
mm,
people. What one for me was what was the one? Oh yeah, I know "Go on the Fireplace" is my favorite episode, but as a kid, I was petrified of the thing, like, under
The
the bed.
clockwork
Yeah,
robots.
yeah, like under your bed. I was always look under my bed. And the silence as well. I would always be scared of the silence.
I think a lot of the things that scare me are things that I imagine being turned into a Cyberman or being absorbed, or I'm trying to think of other what you call it, like shop window dummies with Rose and the Autons.
Yeah,
It honestly gave me a childhood fear of mannequins and waxworks. I was so scared to walk past, and even as a kid, maybe up until I was about the age of 9, 10, I'd walk through shops with like my mum and that, and I'd always keep an eye on the mannequins,
yeah.
waiting for them to move.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like a couple of the locations I've been to, is go in the fireplace where the
Mhm.
doctor's on the ledge,
Yes.
in the garden, looking over to where Madame de Pompadour is.
Mhm.
And when I met David Tennant, I showed him that picture and he laughed. He said, I'm in the same place, like 15 years apart or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of them. The church in the Silurian episode with Matt Smith, that
Yes.
that is the middle of nowhere. It's all up in valleys. It's up in valleys. The church is like on this top hill. And
Oi.
now they haven't cut the grass by the looks of it since it was aired, because the grass is above all the graves.
It's
And
abandoned.
yeah, it's abandoned, because I went in the church, I did, and it looks exactly the same like it was in the episode. But an interesting one for you is Amy's Choice, the actual Dream Lord. Um, I went there. It was raining, and it was actually like it felt like I was in the episode, because it was a
Oh
ghost
wow.
town. It was a ghost town, like it was like it was crazy. Like, it looks a bit different. Like you have a railing where they were walking. Like the trees are longer, so you can't see the church in the distance, but the
Yeah.
church is there. But yeah, it's something that I've been interested in. For probably the last 2 years now, just going. I went this year.
Locations.
Yeah, I went this year and last year. Um, went to the cafe End of Time where Wilfred and the Doctor spoke. A very nice cafe actually. But yeah, it is good. It's nice to go to locations, especially if they're not there. Just
Hmm.
day out. Go there a day out and have a look.
That'd be a good thing.
Like.
Yeah, that's good idea, really. Especially because I am such a fan. It's probably too weak of a word. It's Doctor Who takes up so much of my spare time. Not takes up, sorry, but I spend so much of my spare time creating content and watching and reading and doing all sorts about Doctor Who. It means so much to me. That to go there and see these places that have been for filming, obviously the real places. I can't exactly go to Skaro or Gallifrey.
Unfortunately, not.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No, but yeah, it'd definitely be something to see. Even though it might not mean a lot to us fans. It's a lot.
It is a lot just to go to these places, or it means a lot to speak to them or have any
Yeah,
contact with them. It's so important. And it means Doctor Who means a lot to so many people of
yeah, definitely.
different communities. Like I've said, like a lot of autistic people love the show, and not just them. Like loads of other communities, like just focusing them inclusive. Like we said, like Doctor Who's being more inclusive now, where
It
they're
is.
allowing
Yeah,
lots of
the,
different
the, the
people in
show
there.
is so diverse, and
Mm,
all it's sort of maybe not so much the classic, as that's more of a test of time with
yeah,
when they used to call companions assistants, and it was a bit less politically correct, as you call it, maybe.
yeah.
But even still, it was still ahead of its time back then. Um, and nowadays it's diverse, and the communities, everyone surrounding it. We all have the large majority of us. We're not talking about the people that sort of degens on Twitter that could cry and complain, but people who genuinely like and respect and love the show are probably some of the best people to sort of be around, because
They are.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just everyone gets each other.
they do. They
And
do.
yeah, like you say, I've made I've made a lot of friends sort of from in real life. Obviously my friends love Doctor Who, quite a few of them. But I've made friends with people on TikTok, and a few of my friends, obviously, they have autism, and they say how much the show means to them,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And obviously, they come from different backgrounds, and yeah, I could ramble on all day about how Doctor Who connects everyone, even generations.
Yeah.
But
It's so long, but we could speak about it all day. But
yeah,
I think we have to stop at some point, don't we?
no, yeah, for
Yeah,
now.
yeah. For now, until you come in on again for the group
Yes,
episodes. But last question is, do you have a favorite quote or one that you relate to?
I would say a quote that always meant a lot to me was a Fourth Doctor quote, and it's what's the point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes?
Yeah, that is
It
a good one.
always relates to me, because I'll always be a kid. I'll always be a kid on the inside, and obviously part of being an adult is you still get to be a kid now and again.
That's it.
It's this is nostalgia.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
That's completely it. It's that. Soups. I love that quote. No, it's been really awesome speaking to you.
thank you for
Um,
having me.
yeah, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Coming on.
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant. It's been a blast. I could, like you said, I could have sat here and spoken for
Yeah,
hours. I
we
could be
we
here
we
till
could we could we spoke for a little while, but we could speak for hours.
yeah.
I think, but it's been good speaking about like 60th anniversary.
Hmm.
Um, doctors. We spoke about so much, but
Yeah,
thank you again, Soups. Thank you to anyone who's watching today, listening today. This will be the last episode of the first part of the series, August and September. One episode in September. Um, Only because most episodes are in August and it's all filled up because there's so many people involved. But the next episode will be in November, start of November, leading up to the 23rd of November. And I'll know more. We'll know more for how it's all going to be, the kind of schedule of that when the episodes will go out nearer to the time. Because at the moment in time, I haven't recorded any group episodes yet. I want to finish doing the single episodes first, and then we swing over to the group episodes, which is going to be so much fun. But yeah, last episode of part one. I said that last episode, I know, but we get more people involved, the better. But we'll see you in November for the next part. But if you want to stick around for the next episode on the podcast, there will be not Doctor Who autism related ones. There might be just maybe some autism ones, some maybe Crohn's ones. Digestive Diaries episode 2 will be coming out at the end of September as well, so you'll be able to see that. But other than that, this series will continue in a couple of months' time. But thanks again, Soups. It's been awesome speaking to you, and
thank you.
it's been awesome.